Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, definitely good afternoon. I'm a bit troubled, a bit disturbed at the moment. Look, especially pirate-ish at the moment in the boat. Just note some coal marks under my eyes. I'm a bit troubled. Put on the news this morning like I do most mornings. And the tone, there was the Americans. I was given an update on the proceedings in Russia and Ukraine. And I got the tone, I got the message that sounds like it's almost definite. And then Ukraine have put out a tweet that they've been shelled this morning, so it sounds like we've all but gone to war. Well, I say we. The world, I mean, has gone to war, and in a way where it's not America or the West being aggressive, it's Russia, a previous bad guy, and that they're being aggressive again. And obviously I live here in the UK, I speak English, I've grown up here. And for me, all I know is capitalism in the West, the American dream within the context of Europe. And, I appreciate the way, from Rocky movies, how it's portrayed the Russians and, the mentality. And I've grown up from Cypriot heritage. And the Russians are heavily involved in Cyprus. I mean, they've got a big presence there. And again, Cyprus is from the Orthodox Church in terms of Christianity. So there's a link to Russia, there's a fondness with Russia. And I've never looked at them like the bad guy. But I can't deny how still, me living here in the UK, London, all of this trouble going on, and just looking at it simplistically, if Russia's going to war and we're opposing them, they're Russia's bad guy. Russia's our bad guy. And they're willing to go to war. Now, I appreciate it's only the Ukraine. It's not like a pursuit from Adolf Hitler or anything. But for me, when I turn on the news and they don't tell me why Russia wants to invade, that's all kept secret. Well, it's just not expressed. That's the disconcerting part. Maybe Putin has gone mad. It really does sound like that. They don't really give explanations on the media as to why Russia is invading. I appreciate there's apparently some old problems, old issues with the Donbass area or something. And I haven't really listened to find out how extensive that is, but just the way it's received as a message to somebody who's claims to be simple it's a lot wider spread than that. It's not going to be just Donbass. It's like massive amount of troops, NATO getting involved, and they haven't been fixated on Donbass. It's been mentioned once or twice. So from my perspective, it's bigger than whatever that issue was, and it's disconcerting that I don't know why two massive countries, because Ukraine isn't a small country, two massive countries are going to go to war. And that's the world we live in, you know? We've got the media, we've got pumping out war, no war, war, no war. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen like a fight in a school playground? And nobody's asking the question why. Why the F are we going to go to war? So that's troubling me, but everything troubles me. Don't worry about me in that regard. Yeah, it's just I'm kind of sick of the world, and this has come after the pandemic. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, that rings alarm bells, because you argue the elite are aware of plans like this years, decades in advance. And we've just had a pandemic that was like real scaremongering to a certain extent. I appreciate a lot of people died from it. But if you take into account the power of the psychosomatic effects, in other words, telling people you get this deadly disease that's basically the flu and it can kill you, and you get the flu and you panic and your nervous system goes to wreck, your immune system goes to wreck because you're panicking, and you allow the flu to kill you, to put you in a bed. And you know, a large part of the population of the entire effing planet are now vaccinated. Has anything gone into those vaccines, you know? For me, the pandemic was just confusion. We're entering a period of war. Does that not make sense? Confuse the people. Confuse the people and then instigate a time of war, a tone of serious to that confusion. One, the people are dying for anything to grip to in way of something that's a bit more grounding than not knowing and being confused. And two, it's a serious situation. People are going to be like, oh, I haven't been following politics. This has all been about the pandemic. I totally forgot, you know, there's beef in this world. Oh, what's going on? Oh, right, Russia's going to invade. Why? Oh, they're just going to invade. Why, though? But they're just going to invade. You haven't been keeping up, man. It's your fault. That sort of energy and attitude can be applied time and time again from a state of confusion to real serious life-threatening stuff. And again, when we're not even in the country that it's taking place in, to a certain extent, we're just voyeurs. What are we doing? Observing war in another country. Why would we be doing that? For me, it's come out of the confusion. I wouldn't normally follow war and politics, just stay miles away from it, but I've realised things are serious in the world due to the pandemic. And now we've got this on top. So for me, it's time to follow from a different perspective. Sorry, I just need to put the gas on. But it's been troubling me for a few months now. I was reflecting on life, and I got to the point where I started thinking about what it must be like for people in war. And it can't be pleasant, to say the least, We don't really think about it, when lives are ripped apart by bombs, a whole family torn apart, a whole neighbourhood ripped apart, friends, family. What happens if you're like a kid and you've got to get up and find safety? It's too much. That's going to happen again. We've been thinking about it in like poorer countries like Afghanistan and Iraq for the last 20, 30 years. That's where war takes place. That's where the setting of war has been over my life. I don't often think about it happening to rich countries. Ukraine isn't poor. I suppose you've got Argentina back in the 80s, and that was like getting that way. But Argentina, they're South American, and they don't have the power of Europe. Ukraine is in Europe, man. So for me, it's just a case of when this war gets finished and wrapped up, and one side wins and one side loses, can the people that write the peace treaties for those wars actually think a little bit better? Because it seems like we're fighting wars now because at the result of the last war, or at the result of the last whatever, when, for instance, Germany, when it was ripped apart after World War II and this bit of land and that bit of land was given away, that affected Russia. And that was what broke up Russia, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I told you I don't do politics. But whatever broke up the USSR into Russia and the Ukraine and all the other states, I'm pretty sure the beef must go back to them. Why couldn't you just write a better peace treaty to say, so there's no beef at the time? If we write better peace treaties, I mean, how many wars have we gone through with Iraq? And all that region, it's like we don't spend the time to wrap things up properly. Is there going to be another war in Afghanistan in like 10, 20 years? It doesn't look like we got out of there with much consciousness. It's like, all right, let's go, time to go, lads. Let's get the hell out of here. And you've left the country. Is it any wonder that in 10, 20 years we're going to have another war there? I almost want to do a meditation on whatever takes place in this war, that some sense comes to the people there, both in the Russians' hearts, for whatever reason that they have decided that it's okay to take life for the sake of politics, money, land, etc. And also in the hearts of all the soldiers, you know, prepared to kill another man for the same reasons. It's an insane world. We don't contemplate it enough. This should be in secondary school, to give the children the ability to go out in the world and be people, instead of leaving school, looking at the world, realising it's mad and going insane, realising they have no power, and they just follow the same system. So I don't know what your views are. I don't know what the consensus is. I don't know what the collective psychosis is thinking. Let's just pray sanity prevails.